presence of the Lord. For the Catholics, please make the sign of the cross. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God, we thank you for this opportunity you've given us. Bless us as we take on the challenges of today's session. Forgive us for the sins we've committed against you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jade. How is everyone? Are you all settled down there in your proper places, in your seat? You're done with your recess? Go back now to your places, your study table, because we'll continue with our lesson on parallelograms. Okay, check your audio microphone. Am I clear to you? Can you see me? Can you hear me clearly? Yes. Only Sophia is replying to me. Okay, let's continue with lesson 2 on special parallelograms, trapezoid, and kites. So for this afternoon, once again, I need your participation. If you ask questions, please, if you have questions, please ask questions. We will have special parallelograms and the trapezoid and the kites. Okay, by the way, we still have to recall again, what is a parallelogram? Who can define to me what a parallelogram is? Anyone? I'm going to call you one by one. Volunteer. Wala mag-volunteer, so therefore I will be calling your names. Okay, Miles.
Parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel.
Okay, it is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Okay, you have there a parallelogram. And then also last meeting, we learned about the 6 properties of a parallelogram. We're gonna, I need a light facing me. We learned about the 6 properties of a parallelogram. Okay, so this afternoon, these are our target objectives. We're supposed to prove the different kinds of theorems of special parallelograms, the midline theorem, and the theorems on trapezoid and kites. And since we have limited time, we will just learn the different theorems and then solve problems involving parallelograms, trapezoids, and kites using the theorems given in our book. Okay? So that will be our objective or objectives for this lesson. We will be solving problems involving parallelograms, trapezoid, and kites using the theorems on special parallelograms, midline theorem, and the theorems on trapezoid and kites. Okay, let's go back to quadrilaterals. We have here a family of quadrilaterals. What are these? We have the parallelograms and the non-parallelograms. What are the parallelograms? And what are the non-parallelograms? Okay, under the parallelograms, we have the rectangle, the rhombus, and the square. And under the non-parallelograms, we have the trapezoid and the kites. Okay? So we'll start first with the parallelograms. Let us define first what are these parallelograms. Let's start with the rectangle. Again, parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Let us define first the three kinds of parallelogram. A rectangle. Who can define to me a rectangle? Just use your microphone. Do not use a chat box because it will take me time to open. My internet is not that good. It will take me time to open the chat box. So, unmute your microphone. Ay, wala na percent. Nawala siya. Okay, for a while. Na-missing. What na percent ganina? Okay, we have here the family of quadrilaterals. We have parallelograms and the non-parallelograms. Under the parallelograms, we have the rectangle, the rhombus, and the square. And then for the non-parallelograms, we have the trapezoid and the kites. Okay, let's focus first on these parallelograms. We have the rectangles, the rectangle, the rhombus, and the square. Again, parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of sides, opposite sides parallel. Okay, who can define to me a rectangle? What is a rectangle in your own definition?
It has four right angles.
Okay, it is a parallelogram with four right angles. Okay, or in which a parallelogram in which all the angles are right angles. That is your definition of a rectangle. It is a parallelogram in which all of its angles are right angles. How about a rhombus?
Parallelogram in which all angles, all sides are have a equal length.
Okay. A rhombus is a parallelogram in which all of its sides are equal or congruent. How about the square?
Four equal sides and all are right angles too.
Okay. So a square is a parallelogram in which all of the angles are right angles and all of the sides are equal. Or in short, it is a rectangle in which all of its sides are congruent. So a square is a rectangle. At the same time, a square is also a rhombus because all the sides are congruent. Rectangle siya because all the angles are right angles. Rhombus siya because all of the sides are congruent. So all squares are rectangle and all squares are rhombus. But not all rectangles are squares. And also not all rhombuses are squares. You follow? Get that? Okay. So the rectangle, the rhombus, and the square are known as the special parallelograms. And since they are parallelograms, they satisfy also the six conditions or properties of a parallelogram. Can you still recall the six properties that we have learned last meeting? Okay. So those six properties are also properties of rectangle, rhombus, and square. But because these are special, we have additional properties for each parallelogram. Let's start with a rectangle. Here, in a rectangle, the diagonals are congruent. Okay. For a parallelogram, not all diagonals are congruent. Only for rectangles. Rectangle lang na parallelogram. Okay? Diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. That's theorem 3.9. So we have here segment AC and segment BD as diagonals. So therefore, segment AC is congruent to segment BD, or the measurement of segment AC is equal to the measurement of segment BD. You follow? That is the additional property of the rectangle, aside from the 6 properties. Now, number 2 property of the special parallelogram, this is for the rhombus. In the rhombus, diagonals are not congruent, but diagonals are perpendicular. What do you mean by perpendicular? Here we have diagonal AD and diagonal CR. They are perpendicular. What do you mean by perpendicular? Anyone?
Forms a right angle.
The segments if that will intersect will form right angles, or the angle there, each angle measures 90 degrees. Correct. In other words, the angles at the point of intersection S are all equal to 90 degrees. You follow? Okay, this is only for the rhombus, not for the rectangle. Although, here, diagonals are not congruent, only perpendicular. And then theorem 3.11, again for the rhombus. In a rhombus, each diagonal bisects 2 of its angles. So therefore here, our diagonals here are angle bisectors also. Aside from the diagonals bisect each other, they are also angle bisectors. Here, diagonal CR or segment CR bisects angle C and angle R. When I say bisect, meaning to say that the angle is cut into 2. Okay? So here, angle ACR is congruent to angle DCR. And also, angle ARC is congruent to angle DRC. And since angle C and angle R are congruent, therefore, the 4 angles there are all equal, right? ACR is equal to DCR, angle DCR, equal to angle ARC, equal to angle DRC, since angle C and angle R are congruent. Also, the other diagonal, segment AD, bisects angle A and angle G. So therefore, angle CAD is congruent to angle RAD, and also angle CDA is congruent to angle RDA. And since angle A is congruent to angle D, so therefore the 4 angles there are all equal. The measurements of each angle are all equal. Am I clear? Okay. So, if angle A is 30 degrees, how much is angle D? Unmute yourself. I don't need to call. If angle A is 30 degrees, how much is angle D?
80 degrees.
Okay.
30
30, congruent man. Okay. If angle A is 30 degrees, how much is angle CAD?
30.
If angle A is 30 degrees, How much is angle CAD?
15.
15. Bisected man. Tunga. Bisected man. Tungaon lang ninyo ang angle. Half sa total angle. Okay? That is what we mean by bisected. Let's proceed. Summarize. We only have 3 additional theorems. Aside from the 6 properties that we had learned last week, we have additional properties, but different for each special parallelogram. For the rectangle, all 4 angles are right angles. Okay? And also, the diagonals are congruent. Clear? For the rhombus, all 4 sides are congruent. What else? What else? Diagonals are
Perpendicular.
perpendicular to each other. And also, its diagonal bisects pair of opposite angles. Now, how about the square? Since a square is a rectangle, at the same time a rhombus, it will have all the properties of the rectangle and the rhombus. Okay, kompleto sa square. Unsay properties sa rectangle na kang square? Whatever properties has the rhombus has, naapod kang square. Because a square is a rectangle at the same time a rhombus. Just understand the concepts. You don't need to memorize. As long as you know already what is a square since grade 1 or since kinder 1. But you don't have the properties yet during that time. But you know how to draw a rectangle. You know how to draw a square. Am I clear, 9H? Clear? Okay. Now let's practice. I have here some properties. Name all the quadrilaterals: parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, square. Your answer could be all or only one. So any word or terms could be your answer. Number 1, can I ask Sophia, what is that parallelogram wherein the diagonals are congruent?
Rectangle.
Rectangle only?
Rectangle and square.
Okay, rectangle and square. Okay, correct. Aliana, are you there, Aliana?
Yes, sure.
Okay, give me the parallelogram. Diagonals bisect each other.
Rhombus and square.
Only? Diagonals bisect each other. Only
And
rhombus.
and square chair.
Rhombus, square, what else?
Rectangle
Rectangle and
and
okay. All of the above. All of the above because this is property number what? Number 5, right? In our discussion last meeting. All of these are parallelograms and then it follows property number 5. Okay, all of the above. Okay, number 3. Can I have Angel? Angel Grace, number 3. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Rhombus and square.
Okay, rhombus and square, correct. Okay, Kate, number 4. Kate Giang, are you there? Present? Pauline, help me. Because I cannot check the attendance. Kaya maano ko. Maloading ang. So, absent. Okay, Candy. Candy, number 4.
None, chair. Ay,
Number 4, what kind of parallelogram is this? One pair of opposite sides is congruent and parallel. Candy?
yes, chair.
Oh, what's the answer? A pair. Yes.
One pair.
Answer, Candy. Ah, who can help Candy?
Ano, chair? Parallelogram?
Parallelogram. Okay, correct. Also what? Only parallelogram? Pwede po siya rhombus, rectangle, and square because all of these are parallelograms. Okay? All of these. Yes, Miles.
Excuse me, sir, pwede pabalik atong slide here na summary of all the properties here for parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, and square, sir.
Later na, Miles, kaputa na human.
Teacher.
Actually, those are found in your book. Okay. So all of these are parallelograms, so therefore, to number 4, all of the above. Okay? Next, number 5. Can I have Janessa? Janessa, because I cannot see you here in the screen. On my screen, I will be calling
Parallel.
those. All angles are congruent. What kind of parallelogram is that?
Square, chair.
Square? Square only?
And rectangle.
You're not sure of your answer?
No, chair.
Huh? Where were you kanina? Walang discuss. Rectangle and also square. Are you with us? Are you in your seat? Okay, next, number 6. Isa. What kind of parallelogram is this?
Rhombus, chair.
Rhombus only. And also
Square.
square, because a square is a rhombus. Yes, Ian? The question?
Ay, wala, sir. Natuplukan.
Okay, number 7. Judy. Judy, what is
Rhombus
this? Rhombus?
of square, chair.
Okay, rhombus and square. Okay, number 8. All the sides are congruent and all the angles are congruent. Ira.
All, chair.
All, so by all.
Parallelograms.
All sides are congruent and all angles are congruent. Is that true to all parallelograms?
No, chair. Rhombus and
No.
square.
Rhombus and square. Rhombus. Are all the angles equal in rhombus? Only 4? Only 4? square. Only for square. Okay? In rhombus, not all angles are congruent. But when you say all angles are congruent and all sides are congruent, that is only for square. Okay? Let me have for going back to the summary. This one, miles.
Thank you, Chair.
Jessica is absent, Pauline. Done?
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Am I clear? Now let's proceed to non-parallelograms, which are the trapezoid and the kite. Okay. Can you get your pen and paper or whiteboard and draw to me a trapezoid? Show to me. Show to me a figure of a trapezoid. Is Bon present?
Yes, sure.
So only Decipher is absent. Okay, trapezoid, Miles. How about the others? Only Miles can draw a trapezoid. Okay, Isa correct. Sophia, Marinelle. So what is a trapezoid then? Do we have the same figure? Okay, a trapezoid has only one pair of parallel side. It is also a quadrilateral, but only a pair of opposite sides are parallel. So if I have here trapezoid ANCE, segment AN and segment EC are the only sides or segments which are parallel. Am I clear? Okay. The two other segments are not parallel. Let us define first the different parts of a trapezoid. We have here trapezoid ANCE. What are the parts? Here we have segment AN and segment EC, the two parallel segments. These segments are called the bases of the trapezoid. So side AN and side EC are the bases of the trapezoid. Segment AE and segment CN are not parallel, and they are called the legs of the trapezoid. Okay, the non-parallel segments are the legs of the trapezoid. Okay, what else? The angles. We have here pair of angles. We have angle A and angle N is one pair of the base angle. And angle E and angle C is another pair of base angles. This is for a general trapezoid. We have bases. We have the base, the leg, and base angle. Next, we have two kinds of trapezoid. We have isosceles trapezoid and the right-angled trapezoid. It is isosceles trapezoid if the legs are equal or congruent. Right-angled trapezoid if it has a right angle in one of the base angles. It is said to be a right-angled trapezoid. Of course, if one is 90 there, the other one is also 90 because of your same side interior angles of two parallel segments. Am I clear? Are you with me? Okay. Now let's proceed now to theorem 3.12. This is another set of theorem. We are not going to prove this one. I'm not going to show the proof. Anyway, the book has the proof of the following theorems. Please study the proofs, the proof of the following theorems. So, theorem 3.12. This is only for isosceles trapezoid. Again, only for isosceles trapezoid. The base angles are congruent. Okay, what are the base angles here nga congruent? We have angle T is congruent to angle R, and angle P is congruent to angle A. This is theorem 3.12, and the converse is 3.13. That's the first property. Another property of an isosceles trapezoid is the diagonals are congruent. Diagonals, these are the segment connecting the non-consecutive vertices. We have segment TA and segment RP as our diagonals. And according to theorem 3.14 with the converse 3.15, segment TA is congruent to segment RP. Eh, Okay, you only have two theorems under isosceles trapezoid with the corresponding converses. Any question? Am I clear? Only Sophia is replying to me. Okay. If there are no more questions, let's proceed to exercises. Okay, everybody get your pen and paper. Solve the given problem. Given trapezoid TRUE. If ET is equal to X and R is also equal to X. So that would mean that this is what? If ET and RU are both equal to X, so therefore, this is an isosceles
Trapezoid.
trapezoid. Okay, isosceles siya. So therefore, the base angles are congruent. Okay, given that angle T is equal to 106, the measurement of angle T, what are the measures of the following angles? Everybody solve. I'll be calling the following people. Voice naman ngayon. Okay. Vaughn, what is the answer for the measurement of angle R?
$74, sir.
Angle R? Angle T is 106. Where's angle R there?
Nasa yung right side, sir.
O, di ba? The base angles are congruent. So, angle T and angle R are congruent kay base angles man ni sila.
So 106, sir.
Okay, 106 degrees also because these are base angles, okay? If angle T is 106, angle R is also 106 because base angles are congruent. Okay, next. Ian, are you there, Ian? Can you hear me, Ian? Okay. Ian, how much is the measurement of angle U? Ian, can you hear me? How much is angle U? Angle T is 106. Angle R is 106. How much is the measurement of angle U?
106, sir.
Angle U na ta. Si
Ay,
angle
angle
T,
U.
106. Angle R is also 106 because these are base angles. Para sila og kanang base. So angle U na pod ta, angle U and angle E. How much is angle U? Take note that EU and TR are parallel. So from your geometry 8, if two lines are parallel, the angles on the same side, interior angles are supplementary. So angle R and angle U are supplementary angles. From your same side, interior angles
74,
are
sir.
74 degrees, correct. Okay? So angle R and angle U are supplementary angles. Okay, kay parallel man si EU ug si TR. Same side interior angles na sila. Okay, 74 degrees. And how much is angle E? Gab.
74, sir.
Okay, 74 degrees also because angle E and angle U are congruent. Okay, that's correct. Let's have another one. Okay, this one, letter B. Same thing. The isosceles, the trapezoid is an isosceles trapezoid. This time, the given are the measurements of TU and ER, and they are diagonals of the trapezoid. Find the value of X, the measurement of segment TU, and the measurement of segment ER. Okay, I'll give you a minute to find the value of X. Present na si Kate. Are you there na, Kate?
Yes, sir.
So, ang absent na lang si Decipher. Okay. Okay. Can I have Lawrence? What is the value of X?
Hello, Chair.
What is your X value?
5, Chair.
Okay, 5 is correct because in an isosceles trapezoid, diagonals are congruent. So TU is equal to ER. So 2x plus 2 is equal to 3x minus 5. That gives you x equals, 3 minus 3, that gives you x equals 5. Okay, Mar. If
Yes, Chair.
x is equal to 5, how much is TU?
12, Chair.
How about ER?
12 Japan, Chair. Kaya equal na
Yes,
sila.
yes, very good. They're equal, so therefore, both have the same measurements. Okay? Questions? None. Okay, last problem for today. This one. So we're talking about on isosceles trapezoid. Find x. Angle E and angle U are given. What is the value of x so that it becomes an isosceles trapezoid? Pauline, what's the answer for x? What is the value of x?
Sir, di ba i-multiply both sides basta na fraction?
Yeah, multiply to remove the denominator, multiply everything by the LCD. Since angle E and angle U are base angles of the same base, so therefore they are congruent. Kaya the same base man sila, angle E, angle U. Pag the same gani ang base, congruent. Pag different ang base, supplementary. What's your x value?
$33.
Wala pa kong Shopee.
Yata balik sa ni.
Gusto bang guro si Mel?
Sir, nakamit na siya.
Okay, Pauline, do you have the answer now? What's your x? Anyone?
Sure,
Oh,
asang presentation, sir.
you don't have a copy there? May solusyon? Lugay ko siya mag-share. Ayun na. Can you see the presentation? What's the answer? What's your x?
33.
Okay, 33. Correct. That's correct. I don't need to show the solution now because you are supposed to know how to solve for x for a linear equation. Do I need to show the solution? You're already grade 9. It's only linear equation. Equate the two expressions and then solve for x. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow.